If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. I'm Quindell Evans, and welcome to the BluePoetTree podcast. I'm excited for this episode. And today we're going to talk about building positive relationships. You feel me? The BluePoetTree podcast is where we speak about the habits that it takes to create a successful life and the habits that it takes to overcome and break through a stressful life. You feel me? Because we want to create a successful life and we want to break through a stressful life. All right? So, like I said, on today's podcast, we're going to talk about the importance of building positive relationships. But I want to give you a breakdown of how it goes, just in case it's your first time tuning in to the BluePoetTree podcast. So what I do is I recite an affirmation and then I break it down. You know, I break down why I wrote the affirmation and what the affirmation means to me, you feel me, in the most descriptive way I can. But before I get into the affirmation, I usually recite the pledge, the affirmation pledge. It's not called the affirmation pledge, but because I'm into affirmations, this is what I entitled the pledge. The pledge is kind of a poem written or created by Abiodun Oyewole, the creator and founder of The Last Poets. And then after the pledge, I get into the affirmation. So let's get right into it. Let's start the pledge. Hopefully, people who's been listening, I appreciate y'all for tuning in every time. The podcast is growing, and I'm really excited to continue to do this. I got a lot in store for you. But yeah, hopefully the people who've been tuning in kind of know the pledge already by now, kind of got it down pat so that we could be reciting this together. I'm hoping y'all saying this along with me. So let's go. The pledge goes, I want to be what I can be, to be proud, healthy, and free. I want to say what I know to help my brothers and sisters grow. I want to feel good about me and blame no one for my misery, cause I'll be strong and turn it around. I want to go up, I'm not going down. I want to do what I can do to make all my dreams come true. Remember my past, the good and bad, how I made it art, even when it was sad. I want to share whatever my gift, and when you're feeling low, I give you a lift. I want to live without fear and know that I'm blessed for being here. Know that you're blessed for being here. Just know that we're blessed for being here. Just know that we're blessed. All right, then. So, once again, we're talking about building positive relationships on this BluePoetTree podcast on this episode. Appreciate you for listening. And the affirmation for today is, I am prepared to build positive relationships with the people in my life, no matter our differences or how we are alike. One more again. I am prepared to build positive relationships with the people in my life, no matter our differences or how we are alike. I feel like I addressed this on a different episode with an affirmation that's kind of similar to it. I think it was something like the differences of others don't have to make us separate. It can bring us together and connect us. It's something like that, you feel me? So it's kind of a similar affirmation I did in the past about how people's differences could bring us together, don't have to separate us. But this is more or less taking a different route, taking a different perspective, seeing it from a different way, you know. So this is more about building positive relationships, you know, regardless of the differences, you know, or just regardless of the similarities. But the focus of this affirmation is pretty much building positive relationships, period. Less about differences and similarities. And the reason I wrote this affirmation is because I realized that I got a lot of, you know, people in my life who may have different goals for me, or may have similar goals but go about it in a different way. And a lot of times we could argue over which is the right way, or we could debate too much, or express our differences and opinions too much, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but can lead us, in the wrong direction, can take us in the wrong direction if we're not monitoring how we're allowing our differences to connect us. Go back to the other affirmation. We're not allowing our differences to allow us to work together in a positive way, to work together in a unified way, then our differences are crutching us, and our differences don't have to crutch us. So I noticed that, there's people who have differences and we can use our differences to our benefit. If one person feels this way and the next person feels this way, when we're in a situation where this person who feels this way, who feels one way, will be more effective to lead in that situation, then we allow that person to lead. So working in groups and managing people and stuff like that is gonna take us to realize that our differences can help us. Differences can allow us to realize that we have different roles, and once you realize your role, you can work together on a team effectively. You feel me? It's like a basketball team. There's different roles, and they have different guidelines. Different things different requirements. Different roles have different requirements, different things that are required of you if you're gonna play this position. A point guard has a different requirement than a small forward. A shooting guard has a different requirement than a power forward. A center have a different requirement than everyone. So, it's important for us to realize that, even though we are different, we can still build positive relationships. And I feel like, personally, if I can't build a positive relationship with you, then I don't want to build a relationship with you. You feel me? That's not my goal. My goal is not to be out here building negative relationships, I don't want to have to, go out of my way to kind of make somebody like me or want to be my friend or acquaintance or want to work with me. That's not my goal. I want to, what I'm saying? I want to know that I'm getting myself into a positive relationship, you feel me? So I'm not trying to be liked. I want to be worked with, you feel me? No matter the differences, no matter if you like me or not, I feel like we can still build positive relationships, So it's natural for us to kind of like things and not like things, or like certain parts of people and not like certain parts of people. But if we have a common goal, then we'll be able to work together. And I want when we're working together to be positive. So I feel like if I can't build a positive relationship with you, then I don't really want to build a relationship with you. Because I'm preparing myself to grow, to learn new things, to be productive, to better my life. So if I can't grow with you, then I might have to fall back. Some people are not prepared for what I'm prepared for. Some people are not getting prepared for what I'm getting prepared for. And that's okay. But I can't settle for less than what I desire or less than I deserve. And I can't control you either. So if I'm preparing to grow and you stagnant, because you're not preparing to grow and you don't necessarily want to grow, you might want to just stay where you at. You're comfortable where you at. Ain't no problem, But for me, I might need to fall back, from that relationship, because it's it might slow me down. You feel me? So I might have to distance myself. You feel me? If you feel like you know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're not ready for what I'm ready for, For example, I mentioned the stock market to someone I'm acquainted with, and this is the stock market. I mentioned the stock market as a way that I would want to, as something that I want to invest in and spend time learning and exploring and investing in, spending time working, with my money in the stock market to grow it, to allow it to grow. And this person is nah, that's the white man's game. we don't need to do that stock market stuff. That's like gambling. We need, what I'm saying? Like, we need to invest in ourselves and our own businesses. And I'm like, great, word, invest in ourselves and our own businesses. Like, we're doing that right now. You feel me? Like, I spend once a week inside a Word Up Cafe, investing in my time and energy into the business, and, which is a Black-owned cafe. I support Black-owned businesses a lot. Like, a lot of my products, all of my products, mainly the products I put on my skin, hair, face, I buy from, local Black-owned businesses. Like the majority of my like self-care products. You feel me? My clothes, my BluePoetTree.com hoodies, shirts, stickers, labels, hats, all my Blue Poetry para is all printed and created at Black-owned businesses. And that's just the start. That's just half of how I like to promote Black-owned businesses. But the whole point of me saying that is, this person was like, we need to invest in each other. And I'm like, great, but like, let's not stay stagnant on that. Like, let's grow and continue to grow. Like, let's not look at everything in the negative light. It's sometimes we're so quick to do that when like the stock market is a white man's game. It's like the stock market is not a racial thing. It's a market. It's a part of the larger economical market. So like, if we can tap into that and learn how to advance and grow our funds in there, and then even help each other by teaching each other how to do the same thing, then why not? Like, why stay stagnant? You feel me? Like, why lower what we can do, when we can utilize different avenues and different networks to advance and grow and help ourselves, you feel me? So like, friends like that, it's like I might fall back from, because I know talking to them will only result in them busting my dreams, will only result in them saying, oh, it's not worth it type, like only result in demotivation. They won't motivate me. They will only only throw shade on what I have to say. And it's okay sometimes, to have, there's going to be people who's going to throw shade. There's going to be people who are going to give you the negative side of things. There's going to be people who are going to criticize the things that you want to do. But all I'm trying to say is, like, I want more of the positive vibes. I want more of the people who's going to push me to grow and not say, oh, no, you shouldn't do that because of blah, blah, blah. Because it's not what I want. I want more of a push than a pull. So I might have to fall back from stagnant friends. That's what this affirmation is about. How do we attract the people in our lives that's going to push us to grow? You feel me? And it starts with just saying that we want to grow, and affirming that we are growing, and we are going to build positive relationships with the people in our lives. I feel like a positive relationship for me would be people who's going to push us to grow, people going to push us to learn new things, people going to push us to expand and get out of our comfort zone. It might be comfortable for you to invest in yourself and stuff like that. Great, do that, but also work outside of your comfort zone. See what's up with stocks and see what happens. Even if it's not for you, even if you still end up feeling like it's the white man's game, at least you tried and expanded your mind. Like, broaden your perspective on how things work, because that person had not even invested in the stock market a penny, even tried to. So they don't even. So like, we're knocking something that we have no idea of when we're doing stuff like that, and I'm not with that. So friends like that, I gotta fall back from. Acquaintances like that, I gotta fall back from, because they'll keep me stagnant, or they'll keep me, not even keep me, but they'll influence me to not grow outside of the things I already know, And if you're not willing to like, learn new things, then I might have to fall back, because that's what I want to do in my life. I'm preparing to grow, to learn new things. I want to explore the world. I want to learn what, like, I want to learn things that I haven't learned, and I definitely want to teach things as I learn them. So like if I learn stock market, when I learn the stock market, I'm going to teach it. I'm going to utilize my my musical skills. I like to make music, so guarantee it'll be a stock market album popping out. You feel me? Talking about the benefits and risks of it. Talking about the ways we can do it, the educational side of it, teaching people how to do it through music, because that's what I like to do. Just like I did with the Pick Up Poetry educational playing card game. You know, if you go on my iTunes or Spotify, wherever you find music at, there's a song for metaphor, simile, hyperbole, rhyme, alliteration, repetition, personification, oxymoron, and onomatopoeia. The nine major poetic elements that I like to teach using my playing card game. So it's not just a game you play, a poetry game. It's also an educational tool. If I learn poetry, I'm teaching poetry. If I learn stocks, I'm teaching stocks. If I learn the market, I'm teaching the market. If I learn real estate, I'm teaching real estate. Whatever it is, I want to teach it and not just try to learn it for my own advancement. I want to make sure people can follow through and get something out of what I learn as well. You feel me? Because I want to learn new things. So I want to be around people who going to teach me new things. What can I learn from you? You feel me? If I can only learn that, like, you know, stuff is too risky, you shouldn't do it, and it's not your game, like that's not what you should be doing, then like I'm gonna have to fall back from you. What can I learn then? Like, you know, what can you teach me to advance my life? How can you help me stay on my path? Like, you know, what can we learn together? You feel me? I got friends that hit me up like, hey, I'm going to a real estate workshop and I have an extra ticket. You know, like, you want to join? Like, you want to come? I'm all over that. Like, yes, I would love to learn. You know, even if I feel like, I've went to something like that already, it wasn't cool. It's like, no, I want to learn different perspectives. I want to throw myself into uncomfortable positions that are learning experiences so that I can advance, and, you know, I can advance mentally so that I can so I can see something different sometimes. Sometimes, you know, they say you eat new food, it sparks new experiences in your brain. You know, it's like you go outside and you put yourself in your comfort zone and learn some new information. You'll be able to utilize that information in a new situation, you know. We can be able to utilize that information in a new predicament to create new opportunities for ourselves. Let's learn something new. You feel me? Like, if I got those friends who buy me books are the best. Like, I love friends who buy me books. Like, hey, I thought you would like this book, or a journal, or, you know, invite me out to a certain place where I can learn. You know, friends who's putting me on to things that I might not have been put on to. Like, these are the best kind of friends. These are the best kind of acquaintances. These are the best kind of people in our lives who want to make sure we're always learning. You know, I thought you might be interested in something like this. You know, and it's not just something casual, but it's something professional, something that where we can learn from each other, you know. So I appreciate friends like that. Some friends, you know, some friends I do just hang out with and chill with and just smoke and drink with, maybe, you know, like, that's rare, but you know, I don't make enough time for that because I don't want to make enough time for that, you know. But the truth is, yeah, sometimes we're gonna have friends who we're not even worried about growth and productivity and none of that, you know, because it's already there. Like, it's already in the relationship. Like, it's already a positive relationship. You feel me? And positive relationships comes in different ways. So it's not always just about working to get somewhere. Sometimes it's, you know, you got friends you want to just chill, sit back and relax with and talk about sports with. You know, I have those friends too, talk about music with and you know, just talk to each other about what's going on in our lives and how we feel. So there are friends that I have like that. So it's not just like, oh, I have no friends that I can chill with, you know, and do things with. Yes, you're going to have some friends I could just hang out with, just hang out time. I'm not saying I don't have no downtime, but I'm saying most of the time I want to be productive. You know, most of the time I want to surround myself with people I know who are productive. If you are productive as a person, then I am more willing to just hang out with you, because I know we're going to, along that line, we're going to, you know, throughout hanging out, we're going to stay on a positive note, you know. And I feel like, personally, the people who are the least productive complain the most. People who are the least, you know, productive, stay off track the most. So I want to make sure that like I'm surrounding myself with productive people, if I'm going to just hang out and chill with them, and not just productive with work, like not just like, oh, they work hard and make money and they're building an empire. Like, it doesn't always have to be so grandeur, but productive, productive in their life, and can come in many ways. So if they're producing happiness in their lives, that's something I can learn from. I want to always stay happy, and sometimes I might have a friend that's just always positive and always happy and glowing, and I want to just, hey, what do you do to stay happy? Like, what do you do to stay grounded? It's not just always about rich friends or just friends that are amazingly talented, or amazing artists, or friends that have connections, or friends that are traveling the world. It's not always about that. It's sometimes just about people who are simply appreciating life, literally, like complaining a little and appreciating a lot. If you're producing happiness in your life, then we could talk. Like, if you're producing good parenting skills, I don't have any children, but it's always good, to learn from, a good parent, because obviously one day I will be a parent, so it's better to be prepared for an opportunity, that you don't have yet, or to have an opportunity you're not prepared for yet. So I would definitely appreciate to have positive parenting examples as friends, so that I can be prepared for that opportunity, so stuff like that. It doesn't always just have to be work. It could be just happiness. It could be parenting, so I can have positive examples of family, something different, maybe positive examples of people who eat well or exercise well, people who exemplify good health in their lives. That's a positive example. I might want to have friends that give me health tips, food tips. One of my friends, JC the First, I had him on the podcast a few episodes ago, and he broke down to me the foods, all the foods that were alkaline, and gave me the history behind food. He went to the Culinary Institute of America, CIA, and he graduated from there, so he's like very well rounded in like, culinary arts, and knowing what foods are good for you, bad for you, even the preparation of foods, So after I met him, I was vegan, like no fried foods, all of that stuff. Like, we would call that vegan, when you don't eat meat and dairy, no poultry, none of that. So like after I met him, it was easy for me to go vegan because he taught me a lot about food, and I was questioning a lot. I wasn't just like passive about it. I was questioning him a lot. I was literally like had notebooks and I was writing things down and would just question him on anything, anything when it came to food, and from any and everything, from just like what is yeast and what is wheat germ and what is gluten, like whatever question I could ask, like what is gluten and what is ancient grain and what is alkaline, what is the difference between alkaline water and alkaline blood, like whatever it is, like asking to learn, So I want to have friends that can build positive relationships when it comes to health, positive relationships when it comes to good communication, positive relationships when it comes to consistency, just being productive at producing positivity, period, producing good vibes. This is what I mean. It doesn't always have to be just work-related or money-related or success-related or real estate-related or stock market related. It could just be producing positivity. Friends that I don't got to get around and argue with and debate with. Friends we could just really have a learning conversation and build off of each other's energy. This is the type of positive relationships I'm talking about. Not negative relationships where you can debate all night to learn. Because a lot of the times when we're debating, we're not really learning. We're just like trying to scream over each other and see who's right at the end and see who has the last word. But real learning is when we're building on top of each other. I want to learn from people in my life. That's what I mean by positive relationships. So whether it's just being happy, producing happiness, producing good parenting skills, producing good health, producing good communication, consistency. These are aspects of success to me. These are the aspects of positive, successful relationships. I want friends, associates, acquaintances in my life who is trying to better their lives, you know. I know people who can sit around and complain about how hard things are, how messed up the world is, how we ain't never had nothing, we ain't never getting better, and all of that stuff. But I want to know less of those people, you know, and more appreciative people, more graceful people, more people who are grateful for the lives that we have and who are looking to better their lives, you know. However, I am prepared to build positive relationships with the people in my life, even if they don't match my vibe, you know. Still want to be positive. I'm not going to just go off the grid and be like, I can't talk to you because you're not positive on my scale, you know. Like, what's positive for me is not necessarily, you know, positive for you. You might have a different lens you're looking through. I'm just speaking on my vibe, you know, like, what do I want and where I want to go? I want people who's going to push me to go there. So I still want to build positive relationships with everyone in my life regardless, you know, because I want the habit of building a positive relationship to be a part of me, you know. I want the habit of building a positive relationship to be a part of me. And I feel like that will help me attract more positive experiences. If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. Let's go.